Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. If you see in the background, once again, we have Isadora joining us. So hopefully she'll do some cute stuff in the background for you to admire. But it is the day of Mercury. It is the day of communication. We have a waxing gibbous moon. We are in Cancer season, the Celtic tree month of Holly, the woodpecker season, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, and Pluto retrograde. Now, the details of all of that. The sun is in Cancer, cardinal water, representing intuition. The moon is second quarter Sagittarius, mutable fire, representing optimism. Mercury is in Leo, fixed fire, representing ideals. Venus is in Leo, fixed fire, meaning to be ardent. Mars is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing purpose. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, representing questing. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which means to redefine dreams, although for some reason I failed to type that. But moving on, Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing renovation. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, meaning to spiritually awaken. And Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, fixed air, meaning that we need to examine our intentions. And again, for the retrograde mantras, for Saturn, it's reevaluate goals, reconsider commitments, reclaim authority. And for Neptune retrograde, it's reimagine dreams, reclaim sense of mystery, reclaim faith and magic. And for Pluto, it's reclaim ability to regenerate, reconsider what deserves your energy, and release attachments that no longer serve you. Now, for the moon phase, again, waxing gibbous that we are continuing to cultivate intentions. For the Sagittarius moon, the do's are teaching, philosophy, and outdoor pursuits, and the don'ts are their exact opposite cramped spaces, unsolicited advice, and abandoning tact. Now, Mercury's current mood in Leo has a penchant for idealistic optimism, and that might be receiving some mixed reviews as you are perhaps feeling yourself under particular influence of that. Additionally, the intuitive Cancer sun might help you discern a way forward, does actually exist, but not necessarily how to articulate that way to skeptics. So there are some issues there, but one thing you might do to counteract this is to draw in the practical Taurian Mars if you want to see real progress, because that will help you articulate your ideas a little bit and help people see that your ideas, it's not just about blind idealism or just unbridled optimism and that doesn't have any substance, but that there actually is a way to accomplish the goal that you are trying to outline. So something that I hope will be helpful today. Now, for today's tarot, we have the Two of Pentacles. The keywords for this are gaiety, recreation, connections, design, news, and written messages. And it does look like our figure in the card is kind of, juggling a little bit, or at least he's waving things back and forth. You do see ocean ships on the background, which also denotes not only messages being conveyed from faraway places, but also it is denoting the connection of the pentacles, which is an earth element, with the sea, and bringing those two things together. So definitely keep your ears open. I try to stay lighthearted today because it does feel like there's something in the ether that you might want to be knowing about. And of course, for the Suit of Pentacles, remember, earth element, feminine energy, receptive, but it also represents material actions and partnership. You might envision it if you thought of this as a person, as a very organized, practical Virgo. Lots going on, lots of ideas to accomplish, but one that's actually organized, has a plan, and is actively executing that plan, and is willing to seek help in the process of doing so. Just to maybe bring this down to a more relatable idea for you as you kind of contemplate about how this energy might be affecting you today. Now, for today's Celtic triad, it says 3 kinds of liar, and there is none other like them. A lord lying for privilege, a priest for office, and a woman for a son whom she loves. So people who are vested with earthly power, lords or, politicians in the modern day, they often come to crave that power, and they will do it. It is really a terrible thing. And of course, this is an election year. So we are seeing all sorts of politicians saying all sorts of things because they want the privileges of particular offices, because they want things to go their way. And it's best to take all of them with a pinch. And by a pinch, I mean a cartload of salt. And then a priest for office, being willing to lie for that. Unscrupulous religious leaders do dreadful things to maintain their position of influence, and a lot of them become outright institutionalists. They're not really concerned with the spiritual well-being of the individual. They're not really necessarily cultivating that spiritual connection themselves. They just want to make sure that their institution that is giving them employment is going to continue to exist and continue to be profitable for them. And, if anything, religion and spiritual beliefs, if they're not sincere, then there's no possibility for them to have any kind of real, genuine value. And if you are someone who's in a position of being a spiritual teacher or you're performing spiritual services, that too should be motivated by a sincere heart. And it's particularly disgusting for me when people go through the motions with these things when they don't really mean it and when they're just trying to look out for their own gain. It's just revolting to me. And then a woman for a son whom she loves. Mothers are capable of taking absolutely any action at all if they believe it will benefit their children, and lying would be the very least of things a woman would do for the sake of her children if she deemed it necessary. And of course, with all of these things, it shows how there are limitations to the credibility of people in these positions. But by far the most understandable one for that is that of a mother, because there's no love like a mother's love. There's something almost manic about it, from what I understand. And you can't expect mothers to be indifferent to the fate of their children and that they would not do any and everything that might be required in order to see to their children's good. Now for today's magical intention, it's faith. The color for that is yellow. The plant is the iris. The animal is the nuathach. I've seen different spellings of that word. So that's the most usual one. But it represents faith in your own capabilities, and the crystal is citrine. Now, faith is born from the intuitive leap that you take from the facts. And also when we're coming into having faith in your own abilities, that is born from past experience, from doing something, seeing how it turned out, and understanding that you can get consistent results. And I just thought this might help strengthen some of my brothers and sisters in the craft, because we all have periods of self-doubt, if not so much of magic, because after a certain point, you are so beyond contemplating about whether or not this is a real thing. It has been a demonstrable reality for far too long in your life for you to be in doubt of that. But you might be having a crisis of confidence. You might feel like, oh well, I've been making, I've made some blunders lately, and I'm just not sure if I have the proper wisdom for anything, or I did this spell and it really did not work out at all, and I don't really understand why. There's any number of things that can lead us to doubt ourselves, doubt our capabilities. So doing a little bit of work and building ourselves up in that way, that can help shorten those periods of crisis to a bare minimum. Then we have today's practice suggestions for Wednesdays. That's always honoring a wisdom deity, working on the heart chakra. And then for the contemplation, what aspect of your Mercury sign has been surprising to you? You might do some divination if you feel so inclined today. And because I'm evil, I have a suggestion to communicate with someone new today. Talk to someone you've never talked to before, or someone who you haven't been in contact with for a while. Reach out and start practicing that art of conversation and getting connected with other beings. And yes, I know the introverts are coming for me, but I felt an overwhelming urge to put this on the list. And so, whenever I feel that strong of a nudge, it goes on the list, even if it's uncomfortable. So there it is. There it is. Now for today's journal prompt. What nagging questions lurk within the center of your soul? And this relates back to our magical correspondences with faith and restoring our faith in our own capabilities. Because by sorting out some of those things that are gnawing away at us internally, that just won't go away, things that we really do need to find some kind of resolution with, or at least get to a better place to where we're more comfortable with the questions that we do have. If that is your situation, use your journaling time today to take a stab at trying to get to the heart of that. Even if you don't get all the way there, if you begin that journey and start sorting it through, you can start untangling some of your internal knots. So that's what I have for everyone for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. So have a good day, but bye for now.